there. All right, there we go. Three, two, and one. Well, Mayor Wiza, welcome back. The Mayor's Monday here at WSAU, WSAU.com. How you doing? How you been?
So far, so good. I had a little bout of the illness last week, but okay, all
Mm-hmm.
things considered, right? I haven't hit the lottery, so I'm not as good as I could be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the weather, people complain about the weather. This has been the mildest winter that I can remember.
Oh
Just the
yeah.
money that we're saving. We talked about this, right? It's climate change related, but honestly, a winter like this, I think the city's doing more for climate change and carbon reduction than ever before because our plow trucks aren't plowing the streets. So you're not wasting all that fuel or using all that fuel.
Mm-hmm.
We have almost no salt that we've used, so we're going to be in good shape for next year's budget. Overtime is cut down to almost nothing because the weather's been so mild. But I got to say, if you run to Mother Nature, tell her to take her lithium or something because she's throwing out temperatures like Powerball numbers 16, 72, 54. It's Wisconsin weather, right?
No kidding. No kidding. And yeah, I know that's something that a lot of the folks in the city are definitely going to like hearing is that you're saving money. You can maybe do something different with the budget next year. But I know one thing to kind of explain to the residents though, the amount of money that you have kind of in that snow removal account, most of the time you kind of treat that like a savings account. So you're
Yeah,
not necessarily going to say, oh, we're going to put another street project on for next year. You will lock that away because
oh
to break
yeah.
some news here, this is Wisconsin and things get weird.
Well, and we're definitely not out of winter yet. Of course, we've got market cornered on salt reserves, but yeah, we don't want to put all of our eggs in one basket. Speaking of which, eggs in baskets.
I see what you did
March,
there.
yeah, March 30th. I think that's a Saturday. We're doing the annual Easter egg hunt now. This is not a city paid for event. We have generous sponsors. We've got Trevor Pulaski from Dave's Body Shop. He also owns South Point. He donated a bunch of bikes. Larry Austin from Larry's Helping Hand is donating a couple of kids' bikes. Funding for the eggs came through from Skyward and a couple of other donors. Really, this is a community event. So bring the kids out. We're not going to have a whole lot of change from last year. It's going to be down on the public square. We are going to close the street off a little bit so it's safer for everybody. But there's always a ton of people that come out for this, and hopefully Mother Nature still cooperates and she's not playing Powerball numbers.
Yeah, exactly. I know that's something that a lot of the kids look forward to every year, and obviously, community coming together to do something for the kids, and that is even something practical like a new bike, which can I remember when I got my first bike, man, that was a big deal.
It certainly was. We've got everything from the 2 and 3 year olds who are barely walking, and they got those push bikes.
Hmm.
I think we've got some of those this year, but boy, what kid doesn't want a new bike? And if not, we've got over 10,000 eggs filled with candy and ice cream cones from Dairy Queen. I can't even remember all the prizes, but watch, we'll have a poster out pretty soon on social media. And come on down. Remember, it's for the kids. It gets a little hectic sometime. I often say it's like watching Locust. You blow the horn and it's like, oof, and it's gone.
Yeah, right. Yeah, absolutely. I think I was about 8 or 10 or so when I got my first bike. It was about 4 years later. I wanted something with four wheels, but that's another story for another time. Obviously, you're getting down to kind of the business of the city too, and things that are on four wheels. First time in 9 years, you issued a mayoral veto. Man,
Yeah. So,
give us the inside scoop on this and what went into that decision.
well, I take the veto authority very seriously. And we live in a democracy. So if it's something the alderpersons want, generally, that's the route we go because, like me, the alderpersons are representing the people. And I have to assume that those alderpersons are in contact with their constituents for all the spending that we do and the hiring and those sorts of things, the purchase of new equipment. But that Business 51 has been a point of contention for 20 years. I mean, it goes back quite a ways. Back when we first took the buyout from the Department of
Oh
Transportation,
yeah.
and that put the entire jurisdictional transfer of Business 51 within the city limits firmly on the shoulders of the city taxpayers. Now, we can debate whether that was a good decision or not, but I can tell you Plover and Whiting did not, and they got it built at no cost to the community.
And Mayor Wiza just accidentally muted himself.
Hang on. Sorry, that was all on me. I can't find your Zoom meeting. Can you
Uh-oh.
still see me?
Not yet. No, we can't see you. We just have your lovely mugshot. And okay, now we have you in the flesh.
Gotcha.
So,
We're all back. Sorry, technical difficulties. But anyway, the 3-lane design, it will work. Is it the safest, best, most efficient? We're all kind of reading the tea leaves on this one, right? We take data and we try and use that data to make the best plays that we can, right? Do what's best for the community. So there is some danger. We had proposed the 4-3-4, where it's 4 lanes in the northern and southern sections, where it's predominantly business, but then slowing traffic down at 3 lanes when it's in the middle section, which is primarily residential. The one point of contention that I personally have is the council asked for more information on the roundabout, because to date, nobody has been able to show us data on a roundabout that is of similar traffic volume and similar pedestrian counts. And that's really the key, because it's right by campus. Now, other ones have them by campus, but they don't have the same volume of traffic that this one does. And that's really where I'm going on the data. I can tell you that the North Point roundabout, accidents increased for almost 150%. Now, they're not as significant. It's a side swipe or a roll occasionally if they're going too fast, but 150% since it was installed. And we checked, okay, there's a learning curve. So we looked at just the last 2 years, and the data is about the same, about 150% increase in traffic accidents. Well, now you throw on 600 to 800 people crossing that intersection every day. And that, you want to increase accidents 150%? Now, some people will say, oh, it's a 1 lane and it's not a 2 lane. But I would submit that a 1 lane makes it even more challenging for pedestrians, because you have to cross a lane of traffic and then stand in the middle of the road, basically, and cross another lane of traffic. People, when they're at the roundabout, they're generally looking left. So you may not see someone on the right. You should. Everybody should always be paying attention when they drive.
of course.
But I'm not willing to take that risk. And our data shows that accidents increased 150%. I don't want 150% more accidents at that intersection. Now, signalized, everybody understands that. Traffic goes, pedestrians stop. Then pedestrians go and traffic stops. Generally, people can understand that. You study the people who are going too fast or blow through a red light, and we're not going to fix it on the roundabout either. Roundabouts suddenly don't make everybody follow the law. Well, I can tell you the speed limit on the north side roundabout is 15 miles an hour. I would bet dollars to donuts, no pun intended. I guess I did.
Yeah.
That people aren't going 15 miles an hour when they're in that intersection. So it's a really big point of concern for me. And the Public Works Board voted to go with the signalized intersection. Council said, no, we think the roundabout will work and we're going to go with it. So I'm really just kind of asking them to put their money where their mouth is. I feel strongly enough about it, and I hope people understand the significance of how important that is. Because this is my first veto in 9 years in office. So I hope the weight of that, the gravity there, sticks with people a little bit. And for anybody watching or listening, call your alderperson. If you have concerns one way or the other, we need to hear from you, because this is a decision we're going to have to live with for the rest of all of our lives, for sure.
Oh yeah.
If we suddenly find out that, oh, the roundabout doesn't work, well, we don't have the money to put it back. So that gets really concerning for me. So I'm using the data, our data, the ones we can get, show 150% increase in accidents. Now, we also have the engineering study that says it should probably work. There's other communities that do it, but if you look at their report, they say even that is anecdotal data. I'm not willing to take that chance with an intersection with that kind of volume. So in March, there will be an item on the council agenda to override the veto, and we'll see where that takes us. But if nothing else, it's revitalized that discussion, and maybe people are taking a little more serious look at this because we're going to start redoing the road here in the next couple of years, and we want to make sure we have a good, safe design.
Now, and again, for those that may have are just kind of rechecking into this discussion, as you've mentioned, it's gone on for so long. Some people may have tuned it out or what have you, but right now you're just talking about this one intersection. The rest of the design is largely in place, but right now you're getting into some of the larger details, which includes this intersection. Which do you have the data? Like, if you were to install a roundabout, then all of a sudden, like 25 years from now, come back and say this may not have been the right idea. That's a tens of millions of dollars of projects to rip it out, re-level it out, and then repave and put the signals up. Correct?
Yes, absolutely, it is. So yeah, I mean, that's why I think we're all taking it very seriously. Everybody who's involved in this, regardless of where you fall on the design, really has the best interest of the city at heart. I can't fault anybody for voting the way they do because they feel that that's a safe issue. We want to make things safer, better, more efficient. I just believe in this one particular case that we're not going to get to where we want to go. And then you talk about emergency vehicles. You know, the fire department's a block away. In a two-lane roundabout, even they have room to go around. Someone's got room to pull over, right? Everybody should be pulling over to the right when
Of
they see
course.
an emergency vehicle.
With
But
the
in a
lights
one
on.
lane
Yep.
roundabout with 600 to 800 pedestrians, and we go, I couldn't even, there's over 4,000 calls that we do in a year. So the emergency vehicles, I think, are going to find it more challenging. Now, they are very professional men and women. If they see a congestion there, they're going to do their best to go around, but there's no place to turn around. Once you cross that last cross street,
Oh
you can't
yeah.
just turn around and go the other way if there's a congestion. So I just think the safety level of a roundabout is not nearly as safe as what everybody understands in the signalized intersections. That's it.
Yep. And again, this is going to be on the city council agenda in March. And it's a 2/3 majority
Right.
that's required to override the veto. So, because that sort of math is not my strong suit, if you want to back time into the stop set at the top of the hour, I got that down pat. What is the threshold then for the alders on the city council to
So
override
it's
this?
it's 2/3 of those 11. So it would be eight to override the veto, but that's eight total. So if there's some alderperson that happens to be sick or
Mhm.
unable to make the meeting, and the number is reduced, they need eight affirmative votes to override the veto.
So we will certainly be watching for that coming up here later this month on the city agendas. And again, that's like 8 minutes right there.
Well,
Just
and
talking on that
too,
one issue. I'm guessing. I mean, again, first veto in 9 years in office. I mean, has
you
this
know,
been taking up a lot of your time the last couple of weeks?
it has been taking up a lot of everyone's time, just not just mine, but the staff, the engineers that we hire. As a matter of fact, that roundabout evaluation cost an additional $30,000. The alderpersons are putting in some time. Citizens have been providing tons and tons of feedback. We made some minor changes, but generally that 30% design, that 3 lanes all the way through, is what council has approved, and that's what's moving forward. Now,
Hmm.
in April, we've got about half of those alderperson seats up for reelection. Two of them are going to be vacated, so we'll have new people in at least two of those. I'm sorry, three. Three of those will have at least new people. So it's really important that the citizens get out there and kind of vote their wishes. If you think that's the best route to go, then vote for the candidate that is going to support that. But if not, vote for the candidate that's going to dive into this a little deeper and maybe look at some of those designs and take some of the extra data and listen to some of the complaints and concerns that we've got from business owners.
Hmm.
But April 4th is a big one, as you know. Like I think it's April 4th, the election. It's half
Yeah.
the council almost.
Right.
Every single county board supervisor is up for reelection. And as you know, we're not going to talk about it, but we got tons of stuff going on in the county that's serious, serious money. I mean, we're probably talking $150 million in projects for the county that the county board is going to vote on. And then
Hmm.
finally, of course, we've got the school board referendum that's coming up at the April election as well. And the school district is looking for some additional funds to exceed the limits that they're currently working under to make sure that our kids have the best education possible, that our teachers are paid adequately, and that the facilities they're in are safe. So big election in April, and I hope everybody takes that to heart, gets out to vote. Early voting will start a couple of weeks before that, and you can do that at City Hall or your town hall, wherever that polling location happens to be.
April 2nd, by the way,
Second,
for the
I
election. Do
believe
not show up to vote on April 4th. You will be too late. Your vote will not count. April 2nd is
Thank
the
you, Michael.
election day. Absolutely. Again,
I
news
feel
director.
bad. I should have known that, but there's so many other
Again,
things on my plate that it's a little
news
further away,
director. It's what I do. It's what I do. Uh,
right?
and again, you said it right there. Inform yourself on all the options that are going to be on your ballot, not just the presidential preference primary, which we can have a whole nother argument as to whether that actually counts here or there. But again, that's another show on another day of the week on this radio station. And make
Well,
sure you make
go
the
ahead.
plan, because every election, every time, I have seen too many of the local races come down to a coin flip, a drawing of a playing card, a drawing of a piece of paper, one saying winner, one saying loser.
Yep.
Uh, just do it.
I heard this the other day. The person who invented rock, paper, scissors has arguably been the most influential person in the history of the planet. Think about it. How many decisions are made with rock, paper, scissors? We're
I'm
not
going to
doing
give
that
it
here.
to you. I'm going to give it to
Yeah.
you.
And we've got another election, obviously, in November.
Mm-hmm.
And the council has voted to move forward with a referendum to exceed our levy limits to hire 9 additional firefighter paramedics. That's a big deal. Both our police department and our fire department are understaffed. The levy limits that are currently imposed don't allow us to get them up to the staffing levels we need. So there will very well be a referendum on the November ballot to exceed our capacity by about $1 million. We don't have it set in stone yet, by about $1 million to hire 9 new firefighter paramedics. Now, 9 seems like a lot, but we have 3 shifts. They work 24 hours in a row,
Mm-hmm.
and when they work, they're working 24 hours. And there's right now we have a minimum staffing level of 10. There's the NFPA standards for combating a fire, and in a small single family home, we don't have enough people to do that by those standards. A fire breaks out, you think guys show up, throw some water on it, but it's a whole lot more than that. They have people that are going up and venting the roof to make the inside safer. You've got people going in, and you can't just go in with one person safely. You need a backup. Then you got someone who's commanding the scene, making sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to, everybody's following safety protocols. You've got someone on the pump, the motor pump operator, running that. And if we don't have enough staff, we have our assistant chiefs and our chiefs doing that, which takes someone away from incident command. So by putting 9 in, we're actually getting 3 people per crew.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, with sick time, vacation, FMLA, you're not going to get 3 people on every crew either. So you're really getting about 2 full-time firefighter paramedics on each crew by hiring that 9. Now, don't get me wrong, we're going to do the best we can with the resources that we have available. But we would just want to know, we don't want to ask the public, the truest form of democracy, right? Do
Mm-hmm.
you feel that hiring those firefighter paramedics is in the best interest of the city? And are you willing to pay a little bit more to do that? That question will be on the November ballot coming up in fall. Of course, there's another big one coming up in fall. I don't remember what that one is,
Yep.
but kidding,
Again,
of course, that much I
again,
know.
that's another discussion that happens 5 other days out of the week on these airwaves
Right.
here on WSAU. Mayor Wiza, we always appreciate the time. Get
Okay,
better
I got
soon.
one more.
Oh,
I got one
oh,
more.
oh,
So you've seen our artistic lighting project along the river,
yes,
Green Circle Trail. Well,
that's
we've just
right.
commissioned the next one in the series, and we've got the other one on deck. So we're going to have at least 2 more lights this year. Those artistic lights. If you haven't seen them, you got to come down and take a walk
Oh
on our
yeah.
riverfront Piffner Park. They are really cool. Andy Vollert donates all of his time and energy to fabricate these. Mackenzie Biotish is the designer so far. She's designed every single one of them. And of course, Point Coating
Mhm.
has donated all of the powder coating. So our city guys, we provide the light, and then they do the fabricating, powder coating, and then they put it up the river. It's going to look freaking gorgeous.
It is. I have been there. I have seen it. It is not to be missed in Stevens Point. Again, we always appreciate the time, Mayor Wiza. Look forward to chatting again next month.
All right. Thanks, Michael. Have a good one.